Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through all the noise and really get to the heart of what you need to know.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to get fluent in English. There's so much out there.
Exactly. You want the core stuff, right,
Gotcha.
without feeling totally overwhelmed. So think of this as, I guess, your shortcut to understanding the essentials
Precisely. Today, we're diving deep into developing English fluency.
and our source material.
It's a great one, an episode of Fluent Talk with John and Emma.
Mhm.
And our mission here is pretty straightforward. Pull out the most crucial, the most actionable steps they talked about. Give you a clear path.
Sounds good. So right out of the gate, John and Emma on Fluent Talk, they really hammered home something basic but, well, fundamental.
Consistent exposure.
You got it. Consistent exposure. It's not about cramming, they said. It's about, making English part of your everyday life.
Right, weaving it in. And what I found really interesting was the shift they pushed for.
Which was?
Moving away from translating everything in your head to actually thinking directly in English.
Okay, that sounds subtle, but I can see how that would be huge.
Oh, it's massive. It cuts down that cognitive load, right? Frees up your brain. It's like switching from dial-up to broadband for your English skills.
Huh. Love that analogy. Broadband for the brain. And they weren't vague, were they? They gave actual examples.
No, very practical. Listening to podcasts, hopefully like this one.
Let's hope.
But also YouTube, movies, TV shows, audiobooks. But the key was active engagement.
Not just background noise.
Exactly. They talked about active listening, like pausing if something's tricky.
Right, or repeating it out loud.
Yep, repeating, even mimicking the speaker. That helps internalize the rhythm.
Which kind of leads perfectly into shadowing, doesn't it?
It does. John and Emma described it as basically repeating what you hear almost in real time.
Sounds a bit weird, maybe, but effective.
Apparently, yes. A real game changer for getting the feel, the flow, the pronunciation of natural spoken English. It works those speaking muscles.
And improves that. Prosody. Is that the word?
That's the one. The natural rhythm, the stress, the intonation, shadowing really helps nail that down, making you sound much clearer and more natural.
Okay, moving on from listening. Vocabulary. How did Fluent Talk tackle that?
This was good. Not about memorizing word lists in isolation.
Thank goodness, I hated that.
Right. It was all about learning and using words in context, within actual phrases.
Makes sense. Give me an example.
Okay, so instead of just learning the word opportunity, you learn and practice using a golden opportunity, or maybe seize the opportunity.
Gotcha. So you're learning chunks of language, like ready-made blocks.
Exactly. It makes speaking feel much more fluid, less like you're building every single sentence from scratch,
Yeah, it takes the pressure off. And that brings us to, well, the big one, actually speaking.
The absolute necessity. John and Emma were super clear. You cannot get fluent if you don't speak, period.
Even with mistakes.
Especially with mistakes.
Yeah.
That was a huge point.
That fear of messing up holds so many people back.
Totally. But they reframed it. Fluency is about communication, getting your message across, not about, perfection.
Which is impossible anyway.
Right. Mistakes are just part of learning. They show you where you need a bit more work.
So how do you get that practice? Do they have tips?
Oh, yeah, plenty. Finding language partners online was a big one.
Like on apps and stuff?
Yeah, or joining speaking clubs, virtual, or even in person if you can.
And they mentioned something simpler.
Talking to yourself. Seriously. Describing your actions, narrating your thoughts out loud in English.
Nobody has to hear you stumble.
Exactly. It's super low pressure, great for just getting comfortable forming sentences, playing with the sounds.
Which connects to the emotional side, right? The ups and downs.
They definitely acknowledge the frustration, the plateaus, when you feel stuck.
That's so relatable in language learning.
It really is.
Uh-huh.
But their advice was crucial. Don't give up. Be patient. Trust the process.
It feels like nothing's happening, but maybe it is.
Often, yeah. Those plateaus can be your brain consolidating everything, getting ready for the next leap. You just have to keep at it.
Did they suggest ways to, check your progress during those times?
They did mention recording yourself speaking.
Ooh, brave. Does that really help?
It can be a bit cringy listening back, let's be honest.
Definitely.
But it gives you objective feedback. You can actually hear where your pronunciation might need tweaking, things you wouldn't normally notice.
Okay, I can see that. And to keep things moving forward, they talked about goals.
Yes, setting clear, specific goals, not just, I want to be fluent. That's too vague.
So more like angry.
More like, I want to hold a 10-minute conversation about my hobbies, or I'll learn 5 new phrases this week and actually use them.
Specific, measurable.
Exactly. Gives you direction and lets you track your progress.
And celebrate the small wins.
Absolutely. Celebrating even mastering those 5 phrases keeps you motivated. It shows you are moving forward.
Okay, let's tackle grammar and pronunciation. Always seems intimidating.
Right. But Fluent Talk had a really helpful perspective. They framed grammar as a tool for communication, not a barrier to it.
So don't let perfect grammar stop you from speaking.
Pretty much. Focus on being understood first. Accuracy improves over time with practice and exposure. It shouldn't paralyze you.
And pronunciation. Is it about sounding like a native speaker?
Not necessarily. Their emphasis was on clarity. Being easily understood is the main goal.
How do you work on that?
Well, they suggested using apps, online tools for specific sounds, and imitation. Listening to actors or YouTubers you like and trying to mimic their tone, their stress patterns, the rhythm.
Imitation again. Seems powerful.
It really is. You're absorbing more than just sounds. You're getting the music of the language.
Now, one theme that kept coming up, and we talk about it a lot here, is consistency.
Oh, yeah. Huge takeaway. They use that classic gym analogy.
Right. Short, daily workouts are better than one massive session once a week.
Exactly the same for language. Short, daily practice sessions, much more effective long-term than trying to cram for hours occasionally.
Builds that habit, embeds it in your brain.
Yes, spaced repetition helps things stick in your long-term memory. It's about making it sustainable.
And they mentioned rewarding yourself.
Yep. For hitting those small goals, for sticking with the habit, positive reinforcement works.
Okay, Fluent Talk also answered some listener questions, right? Those are always useful.
They were. Someone asked about feeling nervous when speaking. Very common.
What was the advice?
Find low-pressure situations to practice. Start small. Build confidence gradually. Maybe just with a chatbot first, or a very patient friend.
Makes sense. Lower the stakes.
Exactly. Another listener had that classic issue. Understanding is okay, but speaking is hard. The input-output gap.
Yes, the it's in my head but won't come out problem.
Precisely. And the solution, according to John and Emma, simple but crucial. Actively practice speaking out loud. Regularly.
You got to work that speaking muscle.
You really do. It's about translating that passive knowledge into active production, building the muscle memory.
What about people who say, I don't have anyone to practice with?
Technology to the rescue, Fluent Talk, highlighted language exchange apps, Tandem, Hello Talk,
Loads of those now.
online communities, meetups, even AI tools, virtual tutors, chatbots you can practice conversations with.
So fewer excuses now, really.
Pretty much. The resources are out there. Duolingo, YouTube channels specifically for learners.
It's incredible what's available. And didn't they do a lightning round of quick tips?
They did. Some really simple, actionable things.
Like
Using English subtitles when watching shows, not your native language ones.
good one, active watching.
Keeping a daily journal in English, even just a few sentences.
Builds the writing habit.
Following English meme pages or quote pages on social media.
Really, memes.
Yeah. It exposes you to everyday informal language in a fun way.
Okay, what else from the lightning round?
Let's see, reading children's books for simple sentence structure.
Smart. Back to basics.
Yeah. Practicing storytelling, just retelling your day in English, out loud or written.
Good practice connecting ideas.
Learning English song lyrics and singing along. Great for rhythm and pronunciation.
1, 2.
And a big one. Don't just skip unfamiliar words. Look them up. Make that little bit of effort.
That takes discipline, but yeah, crucial.
All fantastic, easy ways to sprinkle more English into your life.
So, if we boil down everything from that Fluent Talk discussion, what are the absolute core principles for fluency?
Okay, let's distill it. Number 1, consistent immersion. Make English unavoidable in your daily life.
Right, then.
Active speaking practice. Push yourself to talk regularly. Don't wait until you feel ready.
Embrace the mistakes.
Absolutely. See them as learning opportunities, not failures. Focus on communication over perfection.
Use natural English. Learn those phrases, those chunks.
Yes. And leverage technology. All those apps, websites, communities, use them.
And finally, make it enjoyable somehow.
Crucial. Find ways to connect English to your interests. Make it sustainable. Make it fun. It shouldn't feel like just a chore.
Because ultimately, fluency isn't really an endpoint, is it?
Not at all. Fluent Talk really framed it as an ongoing process, a journey, a lifestyle even, continuous growth through engaging with the language.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something for everyone listening to think about. Looking at all these strategies from John and Emma, which one really clicks with you right now? What's one small thing you could genuinely start doing, maybe even today, to bring more English into your routine?
Good question.
And maybe think about this too. What if you really shifted your focus away from worrying about perfect grammar and just towards communicating your ideas confidently, clearly?
Yeah.
How might that change your whole approach to speaking English?
That's some powerful food for thought right there.